Hello everybody and welcome back to Relentless Dota. What you're about to see is the epitome of a 1K MMR ranked game. These are 1K to 1500 MMR players who are now taking the field. And what you're going to notice about them is that they do not play the same game as a 5000 or 6000 or 9000 MMR player. It's not that they play the game worse, it's that the game they play is completely unrelated. The reason why that's important is, if you're actually trying to learn how to play Dota at the 1K or 1500 MMR level, and you spend your time watching professional matches or 6000 MMR players, and you try to learn from them as to what you're supposed to be doing, it's frankly not going to work. Now, the reason for that is, they're going to tell you the right way to play Dota, but no one else at your MMR plays that way. So you can't make use of those tips and strategies. I'll give you a great example. They'll tell you that the support player on the safe lane should be pulling this camp when it spawns in order to block creeps from coming down the lane and in order to maintain creep equilibrium so that the creeps stay about here near your tower and the lane doesn't push to their tower where it's easier for the offlaner to farm. That's a great idea. Good luck getting someone at the 1K or 2K MMR level to actually go and pull a camp for you when they're supposed to. Instead, what you're going to see in this game is someone's decided to pick Sniper to go safe lane, and then Sniper decides, for no reason, to become the world's first jungle sniper. We end up with Enigma in safe lane being killed over and over, while Sniper tries to farm in the jungle. On the other side, we have Underlord, off lane, pushing toward the tower below, and Slark, safe lane, trying to defend against him. Slark is a terrible laner, but Slark is allowed to stay alone because he's not a bad player and he'll get experience doing this for later in the game. Now again, if you're looking at a 6,000 or 7,000 MMR game, Slark generally doesn't get the time he would need to do that sort of farming, because the games usually end in the 30-minute to 40-minute range at most. A lot of games end at 25 minutes. This game, as I'm sure you can see from the loading bar, goes an hour and a half before it ends. So everybody gets fully farmed, everybody gets every level, everybody gets every item they want, and it becomes a question of how well do you itemize and play after an hour and a half of Dota, which is a completely different game. We have Pudge up top with Tusk and Phantom Lancer. Phantom Lancer in a tri-lane where his laning partners never actually leave the lane, so they end up splitting experience and don't even bother last hitting because the safe laners are so bad that they just die over and over again and they become a three-man ganking crew, something you will never see at the pro level. Just hogging a lane, pushing it into tower, and repeatedly ganking the sniper and ogre over and over again. Tinker, who's a character that's intended to push lanes and take towers, comes up with a build that's entirely based on getting kills. Towards the end of the game, you'll notice that he's achieved his goal of 20-something kills, but he never actually manages to push lanes in, thereby giving the Medusa and the enemy Dire team all the time in the world necessary to recover from a horrible start. The Dire team starts off something like 18 kills behind, and then calmly says to themselves, you know what, we'll just wait an hour and keep farming, and eventually the game will equalize. Because you can't get more than 7 slotted, including I forgot the name of a moon shard. All right, and you can't get past level 25. So you can just sort of wait out the enemy for an hour and a half. That's what happens. It's important that you take a look at the game, watch what happens, and try to learn from it at the 1K to 2K MMR level. Things like picking up bounty runes are huge, and no one does it at this level. You'll often see bounty runes just sit for the entire duration and then respawn on themselves with no one collecting that gold. That gold, in a lot of cases, is more money than you can pick up in lane. We're going to go with the player perspective of Underlord. Actually, I think we can zoom out. and do a hero chase instead. That way you'll be able to see more of the map. Now, on the plus side, what you're going to see in this particular game is an Enigma who actually understands how to hit a black hole and has 4 or 5 black holes that are game-changing throughout the game. You will see a team that did not go and badger their horrible early game jungle sniper or make fun of their Medusa for horrible item choices, and instead took the time to explain to them what items they should get. So between 40 minutes and about 70 minutes, Medusa and Sniper actually come online and go from being horrifically bad to quite good by the end of the game, because their items are all basically repurchased and redone. At the same time, you'll also see a number of players not abandon, but take breaks from the game, seemingly, as Slark leaves for a while, comes back, and then leaves again. And it's not from a computer problem, no one paused. They just get fed up, come back when they feel like the game might be over, and yet it's still going on and on and on. We're now 5 minutes in. Let me put up the net worths so you can see where we're at. And you will see that Slark is top net worth, but everyone's pretty much bunched up. They're top 3, rather. Underlord is the only one farming effectively. And now Enigma starts to kick in farming because he's decided to jungle, and Enigma can jungle effectively. Our jungle sniper, of course, is already 1,000 gold behind. Pressuring bottom lane. Ogre is now wandering into the woods, afraid of nothing. Oh, and by the way, Ogre just decides never to bother skilling his buff, which is probably his greatest ability, his Bloodlust. He just doesn't skill it. He's going with the never before done 2-2 build that no Ogre in history has ever chosen. And he doesn't actually get Bloodlust until he's repeatedly asked to over and over by his team at about the 20-minute mark. Here we have Slark with an Orb of Venom, going after an Underlord, in sort of the Ray Charles versus Stevie Wonder one-on-one lane battle. Sniper, who's been jungling, has decided to come down bottom, but he never actually moves in and doesn't bother to shoot the courier. He shoots it once and doesn't bother to kill it. Tusk with a telegraphed gank attempt. And of course, Ogre still doesn't have Bloodlust, so he can't even buff Medusa. We're already off to a 5-0 lead for Radiant, but of course don't worry about that. It's not like kills matter in the first 75 minutes of a Dota game at 1K MMR. This game's going to go long. As a matter of fact, you might want to buy 2 Midases to keep pace with the farming that's about to take place in this game. Snipers managed to get gloves and boots by 7 minutes. Enigma tries to fend off the gank and can't. Tusk is incredibly powerful early in the game because, as you can see, there's very little in the way of warding. Ogre, who doesn't like to buff people, also doesn't like to place wards. As far as dewarding goes, oh boy, just wait until this game moves along, and you'll see when Radiant could easily have destroyed Dire, but nobody on their team bothers to get a gem, or to deward anything, or to ward the secret shop, and Radiant's allowed to come back. Medusa ults to save Ogre. And it's one failed gank attempt after another. Ogre's now walking around with like 10 hit points. And attacking camps. Very importantly, Underlord is now tops in net worth, followed by Tinker and Slark and PL from the opposing team. The rest of Underlord's team is now falling 700-800 gold behind, which is significant when you realize it's a third of the gold that anyone has at this point. And here's Ogre being ganked again. We're 10 minutes in, and there's only a 1k gold lead. Now keep in mind, that's with a 7-0 kill score. So what it means is that they're ganking repeatedly, but they don't know how to last hit. And if you check this game on Dota Buff, you'll find out after the game, many of these players had a 30 to 40% last hit rate. 30 to 40%. The only reason why Underlord is out farming most of them is because he's got the normal, 70 to 80% hit rate of a player who has his eyes open. Enigma doing his best to stave off 3 people ganking him. Because it's not like anyone up there is going to buy a ward. They did place a ward, but they placed it over here, comically. Why would they place a ward over here? Wouldn't the ward be so much better placed right there instead? That would give you vision of that lane and the back lane and the entire way up to here. It makes no sense. Yet another kill, and we're off to a 10-0 start. Enigma finally gets Black Hole and uses it, but is unable to kill the PL. And in chasing, he's about to get snowballed, and they will no doubt turn on him. Tusk's chasing him down, gets the kill. And if we check our Ogre, still no buff that he could have used on anybody to save anyone from anything. We're almost 12 minutes in, and he's still not level 6. Medusa is 9. Tinker is walking back to base. He's actually walking back to base even though he has Boots of Travel, because he managed to leave himself not enough mana to use his boots to go back home to rearm. So we have a Tinker with Boots of Travel who walked all the way back to base. 12-0. Radiant has started saying this game's probably not going to work out for us, and as Underlord I was actually telling them, no, we're going to win this, it's just going to take a really long time, because I knew we would be able to eventually slow the game down like you always can at the 1k to 2k level. And that's an important point. If you're losing a game and you'd like to win it, and you have teammates who will at least listen to you, you can just slow the game down to a grinding halt. Just continue to push lanes and continue to take towers and defend your towers. Even though there's a 12-0 lead, we can see that the Radiant side has yet to take a single tower from the Dire. Yes, they keep getting kills. Yes, they now have a 2k gold lead, but they haven't taken a single tower. Matter of fact, mid tower is almost unhurt. Bottom tower, almost unhurt. I'm sorry, top tower. Bottom tower is unhurt. So even with a 13-0 kill advantage, they've done almost 0 damage to any of the objectives in the game. That's what allows the Radiant side to slow the game down, and that's why I was so confident when I was telling my team that we haven't lost this yet. They've taken nothing. And we still have a Medusa on our team who eventually, in an hour and a half, is probably going to get farmed. 14-0, you say. No problem. They still haven't taken a tower. Tinker's here. He's wiping a creep wave, but there's no one actually hitting the tower at all. Ogre's loitering around for no reason, and eventually dies because Tusk snowballs in. March of the Machines is all Tinker needs to keep clearing one wave after another, but not a single player on his team shows up to actually hit the tower, allowing Medusa to come back to lane, and all she's going to do is hit creeps as well, which is going to delay the game. On the flip side of that, if you're winning the game hard at a 15-0 clip with a 3k gold advantage at 14 minutes, you need to push your team to push lanes, to get out of the jungle, to stop chasing random kills, to stop thinking, yes, we've already won the game, and to go take some towers. Sniper's here, unable to get a kill on anybody and running back. Now he's level 6, but he's managed to get only his power treads in almost 15 minutes. Why? Because he's a level 6 jungle sniper. In 15 minutes, he's gotten, yes, just power treads. So he has 0 kill potential. Slark now comes in at the end for an extra free kill because everyone just abandoned the Ogre. And because Ogre is prone to loitering in the lane. They finally do try to push in and hit a tower, but now they're doing it into the face of a sniper and a level 9 Enigma. Underlord started buying the wards, that's me, and placing them in locations that actually do give you vision. So we have vision there now, and we have vision here now. So we have an opportunity, vision up here as well. So the offlaner and the person with the highest net worth, who's clearly doing the best in the game, is now also the support ward buyer. Because the Ogre is not buying anything, and the Sniper, even though he's jungling, technically, I guess, is not a support. After all he's got is power treads. It's not like he can afford an Observer ward. Medusa runs in a big circle to avoid getting Pudge hooked, and yet Pudge and Tusk are still there, doing 0 damage to the tower. Top, still fine. Bottom, still almost undamaged. Mid, almost undamaged, with a 16-3 lead at 16 minutes into the game. They haven't taken a single tower. On the flip side, Underlord now has a Meteor Hammer, and is going to start pushing to take some towers. He has no kill potential, he's not going to hurt anybody, but he does have tower taking potential and lane push. As a matter of fact, he's probably got the most lane push of anyone in the game at this point because Tinker's doing it so haphazardly. Tinker knocks out a wave and leaves, but he doesn't actually get any push going, and he doesn't bring anyone with him to hit the towers when he gets push. Underlord now moves and goes mid, teams up with Medusa, they find Tinker there. And the mid tower is almost down. So even though Medusa's been losing and everyone's been dying, progress is still being made. Underlord, with one hit from a Meteor Hammer after all that, takes the first tower of the game. Again, Radiant losing 16-3, now has a tower advantage. Underlord goes top. Starts to push the lane, and bottom, they're finally starting to try to get near a tower, but they've done no tower damage. Don't worry, Sniper's still in the jungle. Now, with power treads and gloves of haste, and no item queued up, I have no idea what he was hoping to build. But he does seem to fancy attack speed in any case. That's another kill on the Enigma, 17-3. Let's check the KDA. We've got Tusk with 9 kills in the first 18 minutes. That's a kill every 2 minutes. We've got Enigma with 6 deaths because he was hung out to dry in the safe lane, which he never should have been. Medusa's died a couple of times. Sniper's died 4 times. Ogre's died 4 times. Only the Underlord on his team has 1 death, and that's because he's been left alone off lane with Slark. Slark is now at 13. Going on the jungle sniper, he misses his pounce. And he's now tanking tower damage. Enigma, who knows how to play, shows up, and they do get the kill on the Slark. 17-14. Why is Slark trying to jump Sniper between the T1 and T2 towers? Sniper's level 7, so he's just trying to get the glory of a kill, I guess. He's not getting a meaningful kill that's going to lead to a tower. On the flip side, they're continuing to pressure top lane. Pudge and Tuscan are behind. And they get the kill once again on Ogre, because he didn't bother to run back to tower. Now why would he not run back to tower? What did he think he was going to do here? They team up and do get the kill on the Underlord. They're now chasing down the Sniper, who was running forward for what reason? He's level 8, and he's chasing into a level 14 Tinker. And Tinker still almost dies. Here comes Ogre right into the March of the Machines. He's now finally picked up Bloodlust at the first level, and he's auto-casting it for some godforsaken reason. I guess he's autocasting it because he doesn't like mana, or it could be because he bought a Clarity, Mana Boots, and also a Void Stone, thinking he will just try to get more mana than he can possibly waste. Slark gets killed in a kill exchange with Underlord. Tusk is now 10-0 in the early game. Let's go back to net worth. We've got Tinker now pulling far ahead. Medusa farming in the jungle, not that far behind, but only barely ahead of the Underlord. And Medusa's jungle farming, whereas Underlord's pushing lanes. As for the rest of the team, we've got Enigma down at $5 grand, $4,000 behind, and we've got Sniper down at 2,900 trying to play carry from the jungle. Sniper's items, he's picked up a Blightstone, so he has the dream of one day owning a better item, but not the money. With 798 gold in the bank, Desolator appears the way he's going, and what could he possibly want with a Desolator at this point in the game? He should be picking up a Mask of Madness so he can farm better, or Maelstrom so he can farm better to try to get himself back into the game. Clearly he needs a farming item. Desolator's not going to do that. Slark now jumps in on the always killable Ogre. And here's the first big black hole of the game. Black hole pulls in a double kill, gets Enigma killed, but again protects the tower. All this fighting is happening, and how much damage have they done to the tower total? Less than 300 damage total has been done to the tower. They have taken the T1 top, they have taken the T1 mid, so they're finally taking T1 towers at 22 minutes with a 3k gold lead and a 24-7 kill lead. There's the Pudge being 4v1'd. PL's now taken to farming the jungle. And because they're all jungling, they're enabling the Radiant team to come down to the bottom lane and take the T1 bottom. Backing out as the level 10 sniper goes and hides in the woods. They chase all the way to tower inexplicably. Pudge disconnects. And Sniper now strolls back into the woods where he will take a piss. He can't shoot anybody. He's level 10. And that's his item progression. Underlord, again, just holding the lane. Not trying to kill anybody, not trying to accomplish anything other than keeping the tower standing and pushing the lane. That's all you have to do to buy time for your team. Keep the tower standing, push the lane. And in doing so, you're allowing Medusa to just stand around and farm because nobody from the Dire team, Radiant team rather, goes into the jungle looking for Medusa to get a kill on her. They seem perfectly happy to let her farm her way back into the game. Medusa now has a Mask of Madness. She's got herself an ultimate orb. She's also picked up a Dragon Lance and she's starting to itemize correctly. Sniper, on the other hand, hanging out in the base at the fountain, doing nothing. Here he is. That's really him. Level 10, hanging out. He's going to TP bottom, which makes no sense at all because the bottom tower was just taken. He could have went top instead and protected the tower, but he's come down to the bottom where he has no hope of shooting anybody. He's level 10. Ogre finally buffs somebody. He buffs the level 10 sniper, who's running around under a ward. There's a level 16 Slark. Sniper has no chance of killing. Sniper decides to go and attack Ancients. All of this happening while Pudge is AFK and nobody even bothers to try connecting, pausing the game until Pudge finally reconnects. Slark's actually now making a play on the tower, and level 10 Sniper decides to open up with Snipe rather than waiting to try to kill him with a kill shot as he runs away. Underlord badly misses his pit. Slark circles back for a bounty ward that he's not going to get. And the game continues. I don't have the patience to watch the entire game over again, so I'm just going to let this run from here on out. But just keep in mind, it makes sense to try to learn how to play 1500 MMR Dota instead of trying to learn how to play 6K MMR Dota.
Daddy...
Middle tower is all alone in the world, being attacked. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. I feel safe. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Run, little bottom tower, run. Dire's bottom tower was never my favorite. Dire's bottom tower.
Own it!
Dire's middle tower is under attack. It has no arms to defend itself. Dire's middle tower is all alone in the world, being attacked. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Double kill!
Dire's middle tower is under attack. It has no arms to defend itself. Dire's top tower is under attack. Oh,
Got it.
that's got to hurt.
Regeneration.
Illusion. Warlock back.
New treasures.
Now.
You have the things of eternity.
I'll take that.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Chopping up double damage. Dire's top tower is under attack. Structures are fortified. That's what the whistle all around.
selfish. Elemental gold.
Fortified. Booyah. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Haste!
barracks are under attack. Structures are fortified.
Mega kill.
The Dire's top tower is doing its best, but it doesn't do it was a difficult decision, I'm sure. Dire's bottom barracks are under attack. treasures.
Real coin?
Dire's top barracks are under attack. Dire's top barracks are under attack. It's too perilous.
Double damage. Regeneration.
It's a dire scenario for those top.
Killing spree. Double kill.
Dire's bottom barracks are look out.
Double damage! Regeneration! Right.
Ownage.
And that's what happens when you play Dota at the 1500 MMR level. It's not the same as watching evil geniuses play against Secret, and watching what they do isn't going to help you get to be a better player at this level. You need to get better at 1500 MMR before you can get good at 3000 MMR, before you can get good at 5000 MMR. Trying to play 5,000-6,000 MMR Dota at the 1500 level isn't going to work because your teammates just aren't going to be able to do it and they're not going to comply. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful.